you're ever thinking about doing a real estate deal, use this one tactic first before you ever spend a dime. Most people go into deals completely blind. They might run their comps, they might ask the real estate agent, they might even look on Zillow to see what's sold or what's rented in the last 3 to 6 months. But at the end of the day, they're not actually testing the market. This one Facebook strategy has saved me thousands, if not hundreds of thousands of dollars in missed market opportunities or bad investments. What's up, guys? So today I am going to show you how we test the market for any real estate deal in any market. And when I say test, I mean actually test the market. A lot of people will run their comps and they'll look and see what's on Zillow, and they'll do things like that before they make a decision. Hopefully consult with a realtor that or a broker that kind of knows what they're doing. But at the end of the day, you're still kind of playing a guessing game when it boils down to whether this is actually going to work in this specific area or not. So by the end of this video, I plan on showing you how to get real buyer renter feedback before you actually buy a property. That is the key here, is this all happens before you ever spend a dime. And I'm going to walk you through each step of the process and actually create a ghost ad live here with you on camera. So what is a ghost ad? Basically, it's a advertisement of a property, whether it's for sale, for rent, owner finance, planning on being a BRRRR, something like that, that you can actually put an ad out that is not the exact product that you're going to bring to market, but allows you to test that market to see what kind of feedback you get in real life, live time. So anytime I'm thinking about doing a deal, I turn to Facebook Marketplace first. Facebook Marketplace is a huge opportunity for people to, I don't know what this shit is on my news feed, but anyway, Facebook Marketplace is a great place to put your rentals out, put flips out. A lot of times I'll sell stuff before it even goes to market or on the MLS. So you can see, townhomes are in our area for rent, stuff that's for sale. Any other thing that I've been looking at, it's pretty much showing up on here. But we will create an ad on Marketplace that tests the product that we plan on bringing to market without us ever having to actually spend any money up front. We might be right on the money, which gives us a lot more confidence going into it. We might have some negative feedback or no feedback, which is negative, that tells us we need to either change the offering or think twice about this real estate deal that we're getting into. So step number one, you really need to analyze your end product, what that's going to be. Are you looking to put a rental up here on the market? Are you looking to do a flip and sell a house on the market? You got to figure out before you ever create a ghost ad what it is you're trying to test. So that's probably the easiest part. If you have you're planning on updating or renovating a 3-bedroom house that's a 3-bed, 2-bath in Richmond, Virginia. It's 1,500 square feet. It's on the east side of town, and you plan on listing it around 300,000. Now you know exactly what it is that you need to test. So, for instance, I'll show you the property that we're doing right now. This was a property that we picked up, or that's the after photos. So this is what this property looked like when we went to pick it up. So it's a double garage underneath, 2-bedroom apartment over top. For whatever reason, I don't know why they built it this way, but we looked at this and said, hey, it's perfect to try and convert from a 2-bed, 1-bath apartment into a full house, 3-bedroom, 2.5 bath in one of our local markets. So before we ever bought the property, we kind of knew what our offering was going to be, what the plan was. Obviously, you've got to run your numbers on the back end, make sure that the purchase acquisition price and what you're putting into it is going to make you enough margin on the sales side. But this is a great way to kind of get to that next point. And this is what the property looks like now. We're still under construction, but you can see kind of the vision and the confidence from running our ghost ad led to being able to go in and actually do this project. So this is the one that we're going to kind of use as an example. It's a 3-bed, 2.5 bath. And I will actually going to run a ghost ad today. But that's step one. So step one is analyze what your end product is, what it's going to be, and decide on your deliverable. We've done that. So step two, find a property to mimic and use as your ghost ad. So then we typically will go to Zillow. I don't like using properties that are on the market. There's obviously pretty obvious reasons for that. You know, you don't want to piss anybody off. You don't want to seem like you're scamming people. So a lot of times what I'll do is I'll go into a market as far away from me as possible. So we're going to use Alaska for this one. And I've already got some stuff here. So we're looking at sold properties anywhere between 250 to 350, 3-bed, 2-bath. The home type is a house. It's not a townhouse, multifamily. We want to weed that stuff out. And now we're going to go in and look at some of these properties. So another important point here is, you know, if you're doing a flip property, you want to find properties that are of the same, I guess, finished value. So if you're looking at properties that are 300,000 and your house is going to be a brand new flip or it's completely updated, you want to try and find properties that are also updated in other markets. And really, I mean, the price range for the mimic photos are not a big deal. You know, you could drop this down to 200 or go up to 400 because they're not going to know which property it is. But you don't want to show a mega mansion on your listing whenever you're doing a 3-bed, 2-bath that's 1,800 square feet. So that's kind of the reason we put this in this range. You know, based on the photos that you guys saw, none of these look appealing at the moment. This one might work, but it's got a garage. And which ours does not have a garage. So we want to kind of be mindful of that. A lot of garages in Alaska, which makes sense, I guess, because it's cold as shit. So maybe we do, let's try Minnesota. Yeah, see a lot more results here. It's like they love their garages as well. But, you know, we can look at something. Some of these are pretty similar. That one might work. Let's go with, you kind of got to do some digging here. So, you know, take your time. You guys are with me in real time here, so I'm not, it's going to take a little bit, and sometimes I'll even mix and match. So if I find a front photo that looks great, and then I need to go find, you know, interior photos of another property that's been renovated, I can do that as well. A lot of these watermarked. Tell you what, bump this up a little bit. See if we can find something in our range. Screw it. So let's try this. Use this photo. You don't have to use a ton of photos here. You just want to give people a pretty good idea of finished quality, what you're planning on doing with your property. You guys can go back and forth on ethicality of this and anything you want, but we're not actually showing anybody any property. We're not actually taking any funds from anyone. So in this, you only leave the ad up for a couple of days. You're not making any promises to anybody. So, you know, I've never had any issues, but this is a necessity, at least for me, to feel more comfortable going into a flip or even like a BRRRR investment or something like that. So I feel like we've gotten, you know, 3 or 4 photos a lot of times will work. You want to kind of show, you know, some of the exterior. So that should be enough for this at least. So we'll go back out of this. That's step 2, you know, find a property that matches what you're trying to do with your end product. You scour the web, look at old listings, go on Craigslist, But the key point to that is trying to make sure it's as close to your property as possible, and the kind of end product finishes, what it looks like on the outside. I don't want a 2-car garage photo of a house I'm going to put up that doesn't have a garage at all. So that's it. So from there, step 3, go back to our framework. Step 3 is to create the ghost ad. So simple enough. If you've got Facebook, if you've ever used Marketplace, it's a very easy kind of setup process. So we'll go into Facebook, we'll create a new listing. Let's see, item for sale, home for sale. There we go. All right. So first thing, add photos. Take this top photo here, show the interior. That should be enough for what we need it. Remember, we are taking the photos and information from our end product to make a Facebook Marketplace post. You don't want to put a specific address in here, just a general area of where you are going to be listing the property, not from the photos that you've taken. And then, we put up photos up. House is for sale. We're testing a flip right here. So we're going to do house for sale. Property type, number of bedrooms, we're going to be at 3, be 2.5. Bathrooms, let's say price is $300,000. And then we are going to be in Narrows, Virginia on this flip that we're working on right now. So it wants a street. So we're just going to say Wolf Creek Road, Narrows, Virginia. So that's general, but it gives people a feel for where it is. So property description, you write this based on what your end product is going to be, easy enough. Chat GPT. Write a listing description for a 3-bed, 2.5 bath, fully renovated, single family home in Narrows, Virginia. Keep it under, I don't know, Facebook has a minimum. We'll just say keep it under 1,000 characters. There we go. Easy enough. Another little realtor hack that I'm sure all of you guys know. So property square feet, we're going to be around 1,850. In-unit laundry. There's parking available. It's going to have new HVAC, new heat. And we check our listing over here. I've never understood why it says $300,000 a month. I think it'll change that when it goes to market, but we listed it for sale, not for rent, so it shouldn't say that for a month. But so we are looking good. Can kind of see what our ad's going to look like, see what the location looks like. If you need to move this a little bit, you can. But I'm pretty happy with the way this looks right now. Kind of gives people an idea of what the house looks like. And then from here, really you just post it. Pro tip for anybody doing this, before you post your ad, it's great to go into those, the local areas where you're looking to deliver your product and join the local yard sale pages, anything that's like for sale for rent groups. Some other ones are just housing, people looking for housing, people looking for specific types of housing. Join as many groups in that area as you can before you do this, because putting it in those groups, your ad almost 10x's the amount of feedback you get. So you can see Narrows is in Giles County. So I'll put it in the Giles County 411, Giles County yard sale page, Southwest Virginia buy and sell. I'll put it in probably 3 or 4 of these groups, just to see like make sure that gets as many eyeballs as possible for rent slash sale by owner. So that probably doesn't make sense. Virginia Real Estate Investing, Montgomery County, for sale, rent to own. Don't want to put it in that because it's not it's not rent to own. So yeah, we're probably good on that. Homes and land for sale in the River Valley. So that's a good one too. An RV yard sale. Yes. So now what we do, hit publish. It's as simple as that, I think. So once that hits and it hits all those things, the next thing you do is advertise or analyze your results. So within probably 24 to 48 hours, you should have at least 5 to 10 messages, people wanting to see it. You get the, is this still available type of messages. And honestly, you don't even have to, so you don't even have to respond to those right away. 10 new conversations within 24 to 48 hours is kind of my threshold. At that point, I know, okay, what I'm bringing to market is going to work in this area. At least there's enough excitement about it. There's enough interest that it gives me the confidence to go in. And I haven't even put this on the MLS yet. So it's not going out to all the Zillow sites. This is just Facebook. And, when it comes in, if you get a lot less than you need, like, it's probably a good idea to start rethinking your offering. A lot of times the offering is pretty price sensitive, but maybe it's the area. Maybe it's, what it is you're offering. Maybe it's, it could be a lot of things, but if you're not getting the feedback that you're hoping for, it takes you back to the drawing board. If you're doing this before you ever buy the property, this has actually caused us not to buy properties before. And we never really put a finger on why the ad wasn't working. Sometimes we'll test another one with different photos. We'll try a different price. We'll try dropping the price on this ad, seeing if people actually come to it. So it's a good low friction way to put out, listings without waiting until you've already spent all the money and then going that direction. But it's an invaluable way to get feedback up front. Saves you a ton of time and money for your project. And it's the best way to gauge the market prior to ever actually doing the deal. So from there, obviously everybody's familiar with, Facebook Marketplace. Got a bunch of stuff going here already, trying to sell buildings and stuff right now, but at other flips, which is kind of funny. Buildings are a hot commodity, but as those leads start coming in, you gotta, step 5 is kind of managing the conversation. So I get a lot of questions about this part of it, whether it's ethical or not. There's a lot of scammers out there of people putting up rentals and trying to get, security deposits from people. That's not what this is. But the key point is that we're not actually leading anyone on past the initial posting of the house. We're not having them waste their time setting up showings and things like that. A lot of times I don't even respond in that first 24 to 48 hours. I'll typically wait a day or two, not responding to the inquiries, and I'll just let them sit there. Then after a few days, I'll reach out and I'll say, hey, and this is really where you kind of make your money back, spending your time on this. I'll have a generic message where I'll send back and say, hey, thanks for reaching out on this one. Fortunately, it's already gone. Someone swooped in really quick and got it before we ever went to market. But I do have another house just like this that will be available in 3, 4, 6 months, whatever that's going to be. If you'd like me to send it to you, send me your best contact information, and I can send it to you before I ever even put it on Facebook next time. So now you're getting free leads from an ad that isn't necessarily even on the market yet. So you take those leads, you put them in your CRM, you get their phone numbers, their addresses, and most people are thrilled to give up their info at this point because that was something that was in their buy box. It was going to add value to them. And this is where, I do not feel any sort of remorse for putting these ads up, because now I'm able to deliver something to these people that they weren't going to have access to before, or they were going to be competing on the open market with everybody else and their realtor and everything like that. So once we actually get to the point where the project's done, I will send this list an update on the new one that's coming out. A lot of times people will reach back out, depending on how long it takes, whether it's a rental or a flip. They'll have already found something or they started renting or whatever it is. But every once in a while, those people that responded to your ghost ad will be your customer, and you'll actually get to sell it quicker that way before you hit the market. So the CRM is super important. Usually after like 4 or 5 days, I'll take it down. Like we said, if it's not getting the feedback that we want, we try lowering the price or changing a few things to see if that adjusts it. If it doesn't, then you kind of have to go back to the drawing board. You've got to look at, is this in the wrong location? Is it the price point for that area? Is it what we're offering? Is it the fact that it doesn't have a garage? Is it the fact that the photos don't necessarily match? You just have to get back to analyzing it, figuring out what way you do it. But all this, and the beauty of this is it's all for free. It's probably the best strategy that I found to, one, test the market, actually test the market, generate free leads so that you can follow up with them afterwards, and then use it as a market analysis tool. And sometimes it just shifts your strategy. If you add a 4th bedroom or something like that and the listing goes haywire, then oh, well, if we bought this house and added a 4th bedroom, I think we could actually make it work. So this is how I do it before we go to market with anything. A lot of times before we even purchase something, if I'm having a lot of questions about it or I don't have any experience in that specific market or with that specific type of housing or offering, I will go to Facebook and I'll test it before we ever do anything.